Okay, we are about to expose everything that does not make sense with these Maui wildfires. First of all, we have houses absolutely incinerated. We have cars melted into the ground, yet green still on the trees. Here's the aftermath of a real forest fire. As you can see, there's no green on the trees. This is just common sense. For something to be hot enough to melt cars into the ground but leave the green still in trees is much different than a forest fire. This is a direct energy weapon assault. This is why these videos are circulating on the internet. Mountain Dew, DEW, directed energy weapons. Maui burst. What a coincidence. Why was it that the water was turned off and the fire hydrants were dry? All the fire marshals were out of town that night conveniently. The mayor and the governor were out of town that night as well. They wouldn't let people evacuate. The siren systems didn't sound at all. A perfect circle of fire around Lahaina. Molten metal next to intact trees. There was insurance policies taken out of Lahaina right before the fire. The fires happened in the most prestigious and most expensive places in Maui. The governor passed a bill about a month ago saying this land can be forfeited if we need to rezone. This one's real good. Lady Gaga, Bill Gates, Morgan Freeman, Will Smith, Julia Roberts all had mansions in Maui that weren't touched conveniently. They passed a new law that doesn't allow development on Hawaiian land unless it's a natural disaster. Insurance companies are refusing to pay their policies for some loopholes. So now these rich billionaires that want to come in and build these smart cities can get these f***ing properties for next to nothing.
Realtors, people in the real estate industry, are calling your family and your friends who have lost everything to buy their plots of land?
It is disgusting. We have real estate investors and speculators going around calling our victims, offering to give them cash and buy their property. It is disgusting. It's a land grab. And I know that our Lahaina community, we are resilient and we will do whatever it takes to protect Lahaina.
And that's one of the big concerns as they search for the missing and the dead is that Lahaina doesn't lose its spirit, right? That people from the outside don't come and rebuild and turn it into a tourist mecca.
We've already been displaced enough. And, you know, we plan to have a seat at the table in rebuilding Lahaina and ensuring that the rich cultural history of Lahaina is protected and that the multi-generational families get to come back.
The military turned away citizens trying to bring in supplies for the victim. This was all one big setup, a directed energy weapon assault on the people. We really need to wake up before it's too late, guys. Peace and love.
But none of them were moving. And I walked all the way from Safeway to the chart house. Not one car had moved. And I was wondering what was stopping the traffic. Well, it was a policeman. And I got to the end and I looked up north. There were no obstructions. There was no reason to keep those cars there.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right around Safeway. It's going to hit Front Street. You know, these people got to get out of here. And he said, I'm following orders.
No way.
And so I just kept walking. Well, maybe he knows something I don't, you know. And I keep walking down the highway, and I look behind, no cars are coming out. I walked all the way to Waikuli Beach, still no cars coming out. And I started hearing boom, boom, boom. And then I heard people screaming and stuff.
You're saying they were blockaded in by the police at the end of Front Street?
Yeah.
Like where the restaurant is?
Right, where the chart house
Where the chart house was, I should say. There was a blockade there and they could not go any further.
Right.
What the hell?
I walked all the way from Safeway to there, not one car had moved. And people walking in front of me, the people in the cars are saying, would you like a ride? And they're going, oh, okay. And they'd get in. They asked me, I go, no, you better get out of here, you know. But they just, well, we were told to evacuate by car. Okay, so I just kept walking and I got all the way to, like I said, the Civic Center, and then I started hearing all the explosions, and then I started hearing all the explosions, and then I started hearing all the explosions, and there was no one walking behind me or on bicycles or anything.
Yeah, but fuck. Holy shit. Fuck. Holy shit. No, I think we gotta abandon ship. We gotta walk. We gotta walk.
To where?
We gotta walk somewhere. Nowhere. Shit. Wait, careful. Shit. Lord, please. Lord, please. No.
Damn it.
Guys, we gotta walk.
Hell no, we're gonna die.
We gotta walk somewhere over there by the beach.
We're gonna fucking die.
Oh, fuck. MJ, wrong turn.
MJ,
oh,
no,
shit.
Just keep going.
Oh, shit. No. Not like this. Not like this.
Keep going.
Not like this. No, God, the car. Oh,
See?
God. Fuck. Jesus, please help us. Oh, send your angels. Fuck.
Guys, start praying.
Lord, oh no. No, we gotta get out or something.
There's nowhere to go. The fuck?
The car.
Fucking burn.
We have to go. Oh no, guys. No, we have to leave. No, there's a car behind. We have to leave. We have to walk.
Hell no, we cannot leave. I don't wanna walk.
It's also interesting to note that the Maui police chief was the incident commander for the Las Vegas mass shooting in 2017.
So, you know, as I'm watching all this stuff about the Maui police chief, something popped in my head. And I thought, wow, I know all about what happened with that Vegas thing because I watched this really cool documentary that had all this cell phone footage of all the different shooters. And I realized that most people don't know there's multiple shooters there. And just because the news lied to everybody, that was the painted narrative. This guy covered that shit up. For a fact, he's involved. He's one of their guys. He's on their team. He's with the elite globalists and he follows orders that are unlawful. And if it is true that one of his people just gave that unlawful order, everybody's seen this picture? This picture right here. The locals are saying there was a police car blocking the road to leave with no obstruction. And he just said, oh, I'm just taking orders. And a gentleman on the ground made a video about it, stating he went and asked the cop, get the fuck out of the way, dude. Oh, I'm just here taking orders. As the whole town's ablaze, you know, hey, you can't leave. Just taking orders. Like, what kind of shit is that? Who follows those kinds of orders? And how does that make any sense? And how are we not questioning this shit, man? You want to know about this guy? Wake up to the truth. The truth is, he's on their team and he's covering shit up. He's probably there for a reason to do this exact same job for Lahaina.
A Chinese satellite has been shooting down green laser beams over top Hawaii. In late January, astronomers who were stationed in Hawaii began noticing these mysterious green lasers that were being fired over top one of the largest mountain ranges on the island. After digging into it, the astronomers discovered with 99% confidence that the lasers were coming from a Chinese Dachi-1 satellite. It's a unique satellite that was launched in April of last year in order to supposedly monitor things like global carbon levels as well as atmospheric pollution. And by the way, these green lasers coincided perfectly with that giant Chinese balloon, which allegedly was heading to Hawaii as well before it got blown off course by the wind and wound up in Montana. And so here's the big question. Why would the Chinese government, which is one of the worst polluters on the planet, be suddenly sending out droves of satellites and balloons to monitor the pollution levels all the way out in places like Hawaii? Do you think that this is really about
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Survivors of the Maui fire say that they received no warning and that the flames appeared so quickly that escape was difficult.
A major development in the wildfire disaster in Hawaii. Herman Andaya, that's the official who opted not to activate sirens as wildfires spread on Maui last week. He's out. He's resigned as the island's head of emergency management. He had been under intense scrutiny, of course, after survivors said there was absolutely no warning and little to no help in the immediate aftermath of the fires. Death toll at this hour stands at 111.
Andaya's resignation comes as we ask new questions today, not only about his decision-making, but where he was and what he was doing at the time of this fire. Meanwhile, a FEMA official tells me that more lives could have been saved had he activated those sirens.
Todd Maglioka is leading one of the 28 search and rescue task forces combing through Lahaina and collecting human remains.
Where are you finding most of the remains lately as you continue your search?
Anywhere where there's a bed.
Anywhere where there's a bed?
A bed.
People were asleep?
People were asleep. People were in various stages of fleeing their location.
Everything was suddenly in flames, and many found refuge in the ocean for hours while their homes burned to the ground and into the same powdery ash footprint we've seen in recent years. So far, it is estimated that nearly 1,000 people have died. Locals are worried this includes hundreds of children who were home due to school being canceled that day. Several people are reporting that the government is not only doing little to help, but they are blocking local efforts to do so and are not allowing local donations through, and that they are blocking life-saving medicine because it isn't federally approved.
Denying people access to bring in supplies, just supplies for people to live.
The government withholding every single one of our donations because we are not a part of FEMA and Red Cross. So none of this is eligible for giving out. Tell me why? I have no freaking clue.
The people of Maui are on their own for now, and aside from the federal government's bureaucratic failure, they have good reason to be suspicious. Just like what we saw 5 years ago in Paradise, California, there was nothing normal about these fires. Within a day of burning, it was like a bomb went off.
When you see the full extent of the destruction of Lahaina, it will shock you. It does appear like a bomb and fire went off, if I may. And all of those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new Lahaina.
Local residents have been reporting bright flashes of light. One was captured by a home security camera that appears to have been the start of the Olinda fire. Many people are saying that it was directed energy weapons. We know that most major governments already have them, and during the California fires, online weather maps recorded what looks like a laser from above, striking an area just before it bursts into flames. In his research, Dennis Mills discovered that the incendiary aluminum and barium nanodust from chemtrails is most likely fueling the ferocity of today's so-called super wildfires. And on the day before the Maui fires broke out, locals were reporting a heavy overcast from chemtrailing that they'd never seen before. Lahaina is considered to be a historic and sacred land. It was the capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii before it was taken by the United States. It's been occupied by native Hawaiians ever since, who are defiantly opposed to the mainland outsiders who have been buying up land with no respect for local culture. Not just BlackRock and Vanguard, but billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg, who owns more land on Kauai than what the government of Kauai owns, and Oprah Winfrey, who has bought over 1,000 acres of land in Hawaii, including a new 870 acres in Maui she just bought this spring. In 2018, the Paradise wildfires broke out exactly where the United Nations have plans to somehow make off-limits to humans. And that same year, a report on wildfire prevention was published that was focused on the exact same areas in Maui where the fires just broke out.
All the historic downtown, all of it is demolished and all the houses gone. But those commercial big box stores are still there.
Hawaii Governor Josh Green has been putting the World Economic Forum's Great Reset agenda ahead of Hawaiian interests. Just weeks before the fire, he unveiled an emergency proclamation on housing that eliminates the traditional Land Use Commission, allowing the government more leeway to build as they see fit, such as building 15-minute smart cities run by artificial intelligence, just like they've been planning to do in Hawaii for years.
At some point, I will make a major donation after all of the smoke and ashes have settled here and we figure out what the rebuilding is going to look like. This is going to be a long and difficult process. You're going to see a lot of Phoenix stories rising from the ashes here.
Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
Okay, America, this is something I just noticed. Look at this. See this line here? See this line where the pen's moving? Now watch this. See the pinpoints? You see the pinpoints? All the pinpoints? Watch. See the pinpoint? See the pinpoint? See all the pinpoints? This is where the fires started. This is the hottest points of the fires. Look at this. See all the grass? See all the trees? See everything that's not burnt? But yet it jumped from all of these. See the pinpoints? See all the points? Look at this. To make sure that everything burnt that they wanted to burn, all of the dark black dots, all of the pinpoints is where the fire got the hottest. Look here now. This is where it got the hottest. This is an overview from satellite. This is something you shouldn't be paying attention to. But we are. See the pinpoints everywhere you look. That's where a beam started the fire and it got the hottest. But people weren't looking up. See this? See the pinpoints? They had to make sure that it burnt everything that they wanted it to burn. So America, don't believe what the government's feeding you, because it's all a bunch of lies.